YouTube? It's your boy JR3 and you're watching JR3 TV. Today we are back with another movie review. Today we are reviewing Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Now, I'm going to warn you, this review is going to be all over the place because this movie was really all over the place and I'm still trying to process everything that I saw. First, before we get started, round of applause to Sam Raimi. He did his thing with this movie. Like, this movie, it had action, it had horror, it kept me entertained, it was a little gruesome, and all in all, it was just a good movie. And so, yeah, shout out to Sam Raimi. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give you my rating right now. This movie, for me, it was a 10 out of 10. But let's move on into the movie. Let's go ahead and dive right on into it. So, it opens up, and it automatically opens on action. Like, it opens up where Doctor Strange and America Chavez, they're being chased by this monster, but they're trying to get their hands on a book, and I can't really remember the name. But Doctor Strange, you know, he's trying all he can to stop the monster, and he realizes he can't stop it. So he says the only way is for him to steal America's power. And so he starts taking her power. She was like, but we're friends, and you know, he gets that whole speech that he gave Peter in No Way Home when he says, you know, about sending the villains home. You know, in the grand calculus of the multiverse, you know, your sacrifice means, you know, little or whatever. So, you know, he's stealing her power and stuff, and then all of a sudden, our Doctor Strange wakes up, and it was like it was a dream. So then our Doctor Strange makes his way over to a wedding for none other than the love of his life, Christine, who was getting married to another man. So, you know, Doctor Strange, he's sitting there dealing with that heartbreak when all of a sudden, I'm not going too much into details on the wedding. I'm just kind of just maneuvering around what I saw. But yeah, Doctor Strange, you know, he's at the wedding, and all of a sudden, you know, he starts hearing like a car crash outside. So everybody, you know, they're running out to the balcony and stuff, trying to see what's going on and all that. And all of a sudden, you just see like this random like cars flipping and all this and stuff. So like Doctor Strange knows something going on. So, you know, he whips out his handkerchief, which turns out it's the cloak. And he just jumps off the balcony, you know, just like, yeah. You know, he's starting to fight a monster and all that, and then all of a sudden the bus just starts going up into the air. And Doctor Strange, you know, like, it just looks like the bus is just floating. Well, Doctor Strange, you know, he knows there's like some kind of invisible work going on, so he makes it clear, and it's a giant like octopus, one-eyed monster. And then so you know, that he's fighting that. Wong joins in, and they're fighting the monsters climbing on buildings. Call back to Spider-Man 2, because this movie was directed by Sam Raimi. So the monster octopus is crawling on buildings like Dr. Ock was crawling on buildings. So yeah, so you know, and then so they fight that monster. They get that ended. Well, now they're sitting down with America Chavez because they're wondering why all these monsters are coming for her specifically. And you know, they learned about her power and all this and that. You know, Doctor Strange actually makes a callback, you know, says, you know, there was a recent event, you know, with the multiverse with Spider-Man. You know, he doesn't mention Peter's name because, of course, from that movie, nobody remembers Peter. Doctor Strange in America, they had this conversation. Doctor Strange is like, haven't I met you? And America tells him, you know, that, yeah. And Doctor Strange said, you in my dream. She said, it's not a dream. So basically, in this whole movie, the dreams are basically the dreams are basically it's another opening to, you know, your real self. So basically, whatever happens in your dream is gonna happen in real life. So like, Doctor Strange, you know, he's talking to America, and she's like, yeah, that wasn't a dream, like that actually happened. So he was like, show me proof. So she took him to the Doctor Strange from her universe, who is now dead. And then so they buried him. And then, so that's when Wong and Doctor Strange, you know, they're like, they're saying, you know, like, did you see the runes that was on that monster? And then they said, you know, this is not sorcery, this is witchcraft. course. Next scene cuts to the Scarlet Witch. Well, Wanda, she's in her field or whatever. She's chopping off vines off a tree. Doctor Strange makes his way, it's like apple trees or whatever. Doctor Strange makes his way in there, and basically he confronts her. At first, like, it's not a confrontation, like, they're arguing. It's just like, he's just asking her questions. Well, then he, she mentions the name America, and Doctor Strange like, I didn't tell you her name. That's when Wanda, she cuts down the illusion and all that, and he sees, how she has ruined everything. The Scarlet Witch has ruined everything. Like, everything is just all red and in the ruins or whatever. And it's because basically she's going on a whole rampage because she is trying to find her kids, which Doctor Strange tells her, Wanda, you do not actually have any kids. You created them with magic, which Wanda is like, that's what all mothers do. But she still believes that her kids are out there somewhere in whatever universe. So, first of all, my theory was right that she was gonna be hopping from universe to universe trying to find her kids. And then the other theory is Wanda is basically the villain of this movie. So, she's like, you have so and so amount of time to bring, you have such and such amount of time to bring America to me peacefully before I basically go on a rampage and take her myself. So they head back to the temple or whatever, and Doctor Strange says, Wanda, what's going on? So now they gotta fortify the whole entire temple. Well, they started to fortify the temple, and then all of a sudden this dark cloud just swoops its way over the temple, and all of a sudden there goes Wanda, and Doctor Strange goes up, to confront Wanda again, and she's like, I told you to do this peacefully. And she's like, look, if you just give her to me, I can send you to a universe where you can be with Christine. To when Doctor Strange says, the whole might of this temple stands against you. So now it's on. It's Scarlet Witch versus everybody. And like, she goes to blast and they got their shields or whatever. And then so Doctor Strange notices that she's trying to get inside their minds. And Wong is telling everybody, to make your mind a fortress, fortify your mind, to where she can't get in. And she's looking at a couple people, and then she looks at one guy, and when she looks at him, I'm like, he's looking a little shaky, you know what I'm saying? And then so, all of a sudden, if you remember from WandaVision, how when she was battling Agatha, and Agatha was on top of the movie theater or the building or whatever, and she looked down and she didn't see Wanda. Well, then all of a sudden Wanda appeared behind her. She just appeared behind the dude, and she just whispered in her ear, "Run." And the dude just takes off. Well, when he takes off, he's bumping into everybody else, which causes shield to break. So now Scarlet Witch blasting up in there. She basically destroyed the whole entire temple. And so now they got her locked in some kind of, it wasn't like the mirror dimension. It was almost like a little dimension with like spikes coming everywhere and stuff. When she realizes that she can use the reflections to escape. So she goes and like she's using the reflections, like they go to some room and Doctor Strange is trying to open a portal, and her magic, Wanda's magic, causes Doctor Strange's magic to not work. And so he can't open the portal. Well, all of a sudden the door's closed. The guards that they have, Wanda is dragging them down because wherever they're standing is like puddles of water, and she's using the reflections to literally grab them and just drag them down. So all the guards are basically gone. So America, she runs and stuff. This was the only stupid thing. Wow. If you see that the guards are going down, like being dragged down through puddles, America runs over a puddle. Then she stops to look at the puddle. Why would you stop to look at the puddle? That's all I want to know. But anyway, she stops, she looks at the puddle. She bads them into like this gong or whatever, and Wanda comes through the gong, and it wasn't like, she just pushed her way through the gong. No, she came through on like some exorcist type stuff. I'm talking about like her hands was one way, her head was the other way, and all that. And when she got through it, like everything, her whole body just shifted back to normal. And I was like, bruh, they going like the horror route with this movie. And then so so then she comes in, of course, Doctor Strange and her, they still fight and all that. Well, America, she doesn't really know how to use her power yet. And it's like it only activates when she's scared. So then America's power activates, which opens up, of course, to different multiverses, different dimensions or whatever. And then so Wanda is about to blast her through those multiverses. Doctor Strange jumps in, the blast hits Doctor Strange. So now Doctor Strange and America are traveling through different universes and stuff. They go through a cartoon universe. There's one where they paint, just everything until they get to one final universe where they go and find, they try to find, how to get back to the universe they just left, because, like I said, America doesn't know how to use her powers, and Doctor Strange, he's like, but you just did it. She said, it only happens when I'm scared. So now they're trying to figure out a way to get back. They say, I'm pretty sure this universe has another me, so let's go see. And because America says, the universes don't have another her because she's checked and she doesn't dream. So now they're going to try to find a different Doctor Strange. Well, back in December, of course, Wanda has taken over. She holds one hostage and all that. She basically almost murdered everybody. Like, Wanda was dropping bodies in this movie. Like, I don't think it was a single body that was safe in this movie. Like, the minute they came in contact, like, in front of Wanda for what she wanted, she killed them. They were gone. So then, go back to Doctor Strange in America and their universe that they're in or whatever they're looking for, their universe of Doctor Strange. They find the Saint Centaurian where basically like he became evil because Doctor Strange was like better than him or whatever. He's there. And then so I'm like, oh, they finna fight it out. Well, he comes out, basically just putting on the show or whatever, Doctor Strange, my brother. I've been waiting on you and all that. They come in and stuff, and, it's like they're having tea and whatever. Doctor Strange giving them the whole rundown. Well, all of a sudden, they get dizzy. And both America and Doctor Strange both, like, pass out. They don't know what was in the tea. And it was almost like he had drugged them or whatever. So, after that, they wake up, and they're, like, in these little cages, in this little lab or whatever, with none other... the lab is none other being run by that universe's Christine. So of course, that already caught Doctor Strange out. And then she drops a hint that she's like this high up, like president or whatever of the Baxter Foundation. And I was like, the Baxter Foundation? No. Do not tell me do not tell me this is how they're gonna bring it in. So, when she says that, she's of the Baxter Foundation, Doctor Strange, he's pleading his case with her and all that, and she basically is not having it. She's like, whatever I was to you in your universe, that ain't happening here. So then we go back to Wanda, who is now, she's searching, trying to find out where Doctor Strange and America are, by doing this thing that they call, instead of sleepwalking, or instead of sleepwalking, it's dream walking. And so, like, Wanda, she goes to a different universe, and she can basically like go inside of her own body in a different universe to basically go after other people. And it's like she's asleep, but at the same time she's dreaming, and she's taking over another universe as Wanda. So she does that. And then sends some Wanda, out to go find America, so they can get what she needs, so she can bring America back to that Wanda who's actually dream walking. And then that Wanda is gonna go back home to her kids after she's done with that mission. So Wanda takes over that Wanda's body. Well, now Doctor Strange, the guy comes in, he says, the Illuminati will see you now. And when he says the Illuminati, I'm like, because I know the Illuminati from the comics, and I know who's on that lineup, and I'm like, bro, it's about to get real. Please, it's about to get real. So, Doctor Strange goes, to confront the Illuminati or whatever, because he's basically the greatest threat to the multiverse, according to what they say. But he goes, to see the Illuminati or whatever, and he's basically trying to tell them, like, look, y'all are wasting time holding me here when my universe's Wanda is about to come here and destroy everything. Well, all of a sudden somebody throws a shield at him. It bounces off the wall, and I'm like, I know this ain't Cap. They catch it, and it is Captain Carter, Peggy Carter from What If. She's there. So then they introduce her, Black Bolt, the guy who is so powerful he can just whisper and disintegrate you. Captain Marvel, who is not the Captain Marvel that we know, but is Maria Rambeau. Instead of not Monica Rambeau, it's Maria Rambeau, Monica Rambeau's mother. She actually is now Captain Marvel. And then they say, and the smartest man alive, Reed Richards, Fantastic Four. It's John, I forgot how to pronounce his last name, but the guy from The Office. It's him. The person that we have been wanting for Reed Richards is in this movie as Reed Richards. Like, when I seen that, I was already hyped. Like, but when I seen that, it was just insane. So they confront Doctor Strange, and then of course from the trailer, Doctor Strange is telling them, hey, like, why are you all holding me hostage? With Wanda, and Captain Marvel, she's like, oh, we can handle your little witch or whatever. And I'm like, no, you can't. Like, what makes you think you can handle the Scarlet Witch? Like, it's no doubt, after this movie, Wanda is the strongest Avenger. Like, no Thor, no none of that. Wanda, max them out. So then they're talking, and Doctor Strange is like, why are y'all holding me hostage? And Reed Richards tells him, because the greatest threat to the multiverse is you. And they were, Doctor Strange like, me? The guy that helped defeat Thanos? And they like, you helped defeat Thanos, but then you also caused, an excursion. And then Doctor Strange like, what? Like, what? I helped defeat Thanos. Like, y'all built a statue in my honor, in your Doctor Strange's honor. So what are you talking about? But then you just hear the voice. Maybe we should tell him the truth. And then you just see a yellow wheelchair just roll out, and a guy with a green suit. And I'm like, the OG is back. Charles Xavier in the comic accurate, and the X-Men show accurate yellow wheelchair and the green suit. And he pulls up, and I'm just like, bruh, the man himself is back. After he died in Logan, they brought him back. And then, so, they tell the truth. Yes, Doctor Strange did help defeat Thanos, but he also caused an excursion by using the dark hole, and he started to dreamwalk. And the reason he started to dreamwalk because he thought the answer to defeating Thanos lies within the multiverse, which it didn't. But did he stop dreamwalking? No. So he was responsible for causing death to a lot of different multiverses. So, with that being said, they had to destroy him. So then that's when they're interrupted by the alarm. And so the screen calls up and Reed said, we're being intruded. And Doctor Strange said, yeah, I tried to tell y'all that. And of course they're being intruded by that universe's Wanda, who was being taken over by our universe's Wanda. So they go out, you know, and say they're about to go, you know, fight the Scarlet Witch. As Captain Marvel said earlier, we can handle your little witch. And I'm like, no, you can't. But okay, we'll see. So they go out, you know, to confront her, leaving Doctor Strange in the room with the guy. So Doctor Strange and that guy, they finally get to fighting or whatever. But that was they get to fighting, you know, after the fact that Charles had told Doctor Strange, when you get out of this room, you need to take America and you need to head for that book. And you know, Doctor Strange's like, y'all keep it here, and then he said, yeah, you created a pathway to the book. And then he was like, huh, okay. And that's when the guy, you know, was gonna say, like, Charles, we can't trust him. And he says, I believe we can. And then he said, just because one falls down doesn't mean they're stuck forever. He said, let's see what kind of Doctor Strange he is. Which that don't sit right with the guy, because like I said, the guy hates him and he wants him destroyed. Which led to their fight. Which, of course, you know, Doctor Strange won by trapping him down in the barrier, of course, allowing Doctor Strange, you know, to get up and escape. But then it goes to Wanda versus, you know, the Illuminati. And when I tell you she bodied the Illuminati in like 5 seconds, bodied them. Wanda goes back into where she was going to get America out of that cell. Oh, and by the way, speaking of which, before she even took on, you know, the Illuminati, she took on like a whole army of Ultron robots and basically destroyed them. So anyway, she goes back to, you know, trying to get into that holding cell where they're holding America. And this time, Christine is trying her best to break that glass to bust her out because the thing is still shut and they can't get it open. So then all of a sudden, America punches it with her power. Don't know how she activated it. She just punches it, and of course, the glass cracks. It doesn't break, but it cracks. And then Wanda is coming in, and that's when you just hear Charles Xavier. He just said stop, and then so you know they're both pointing at each other. Wanda is going in his mind, and he's going in Wanda's mind. And you know, of course, because he's powerful, he outreads Wanda, and he just takes over Wanda's mind. And Wanda doesn't even, you know, get to take over his mind. And then so he's in Wanda's mind, he's in Wanda's mind. And it's like this blank, it's like just this white blank space. And it's a door. And Charles, of course, you know, he walks through the door. When he walks through the door, it's like this little fort of rocks. And of course, it's like, you know, this TV is still on. I'm like, okay, that's a callback. Basically, because the door looked like, you know, the door looked like a building that had been destroyed. And I'm like, okay, this is Wanda's home, basically. You know, like in WandaVision, when, you know, you saw Agatha take her back to the flashbacks of what happened to her when she was younger. You know, her and her brother sitting there watching all those sitcoms, and then all of a sudden the bomb blows up. You know, that was like the aftermath of that. So Charles goes through the door, and Wanda, the actual Wanda, is buried under all those rocks. You know, the TV is still on, but she's buried under all those rocks. So Charles goes up to her. She reaches out for help. Charles is saying, you know, your mind is being taken over by the other side of you. He said, but maybe, he said, if I can pull you out of here, you know, that will bring you back to reality. So Charles is trying to pull out when all of a sudden you just see a red fog just creeping up everywhere. Then all of a sudden Charles gets a feeling and he stops. And then all of a sudden that Wanda is dragged back into that little fortress. And then they just show Charles' face, and then out of nowhere, Scarlet Witch, pops up, breaks Charles' neck. And when she breaks it, when he's in Wanda's mind, breaks his neck in real life. Like, she doesn't physically break his neck in real life, but when she breaks it when she breaks it while he's in the mind, it breaks in real life. So she just killed Charles again. So now Charles is dead. So yeah, that's the Illuminati gone, except for that one guy who, of course, Doctor Strange had trapped. And you know, because Doctor Strange had him trapped, he didn't have to die or whatever. So basically, That's what Doctor Strange was telling him. You know, you're holding all this time hating me, and you basically just sacrificed your friends' lives because they're dead. They're dead. They're not coming back. And he's like, oh, they're gonna make it back. And I'm like, bruh, they're not. Like, if you would listen for once, they are not gonna make it back. Do you not hear all the chaos that's going on? They are not coming back. Anyway, so so about time Wanda, after she breaks Charles' neck, she looks over at the cell. Well, America done smashed her way out of the cell. So now her and Christina are on the run. And then they get in the little hallway and they stop, and it look like it's zombie Wanda or whatever, you know, like running and stuff. Well, it's not. It's Doctor Strange. But like I told you, this movie was like a horror, so it's meant to look, you know, as horror, as to have you in fear or whatever. So it's our universe, Doctor Strange, coming to look for them. Well, of course, they even fixed the cloak, so now the cloak goes back to him because when Wanda zapped him and America through those multiverses, it burnt a hole in the cloak. So now the cloak then got patched up. The cloak goes back to Doctor Strange. And now they're, you know, on that little path, you know, to go find that book. This led to probably, if not the most horrific, you know, like scariest chase scene in the movie. Because now it's just those three running with zombie Wanda. And I'm talking about like she's running with a limp, you know. But it's like she gaining on them and all that. And I'm like, bro, they actually went horror film with this Marvel movie. And so, you know, so all of a sudden, don't know why, they're going like under, it's like an underwater tunnel or whatever. And of course, you know, Wanda, she's catching up. They try to shut the door once. Wanda breaks through that door. They try it again. She breaks through that one before they could even close it. But then they get another one closed. When they get this one closed, they just stop. And I'm talking about everybody in the movie was like, keep running. And like they just stop. And all of a sudden you hear water droplets and like America says, where did she go? And then all of a sudden it's just quiet. It's just quiet. And then Wanda just pops up. And I'm talking about I jumped and screamed at that part because that jump scare did get me. That got me worse than when I was younger and I seen the jump scare in the first Spider-Man when he went in there, you know, thought he was saving a woman, but it was actually the goblin, and he turned around and screamed. Yeah, that hit me worse than that one. So yeah, I jumped and screamed at that part. But anyway, Doctor Strange says, you know, Wanda, if you're in there, I hope you hold your breath. And he basically, you know, breaks the bridge to where it's flooded with water. And then, you know, America's like, did that stop her? He said, nope, just bought us some time. So they go and find the door to open up. Well, that door, of course, leads to that book. And then so they, you know, they get that door open, and then they're going to get the book. When they're going to get the book, of course, they stop again because now they got their hands on the book. And, of course, Wanda has made it through. And now she basically takes America by her hair. She basically causes America to open portals to different multiverses. She tosses Doctor Strange and Christine in that multiverse. Then she does her little magic to make America think about where our universe Wanda is, which I forgot the name of the place that she's at, but it's like her throne or whatever. It's where the Darkhold was actually forged, and because the Darkhold itself is actually a copy, because those spells are forged in stone in the wall, and it's actually Wanda's throne. And then so she makes America think about that place, and when that place comes to reality, she tosses America in there to our Wanda, which our Wanda wakes up, and that Wanda goes back to her kids. So now Wanda has America, which is all she's been wanting because she's been trying to take her power. And the reason she's trying to take her power is to, one, find her children, two, to keep her children safe, because like she said, if they get sick, like every known cure to every disease is written throughout the multiverse. So she can do whatever she wants. Basically, she says, you know, she's supposed to control everything. So that's what leads to Doctor Strange when she threw them in the portal. Doctor Strange, Christine, ends up in this multiverse where this universe looks like, as Doctor Strange said, it's two universes, colliding into each other. Like the What If episode, everything is floating up in black goo as if it's being erased. Well, they make their way over to that Sanctum Sanctorum, where they meet none other than as he was in What If, Strange Supreme, the evil Doctor Strange. So, of course, Doctor Strange confronts him, and of course, just like in What If, all of this is about Christine. That evil Doctor Strange wanted to kill him dead. I'll give you the Darkhold if you give me your Christine. Of course, Doctor Strange said that's not gonna happen, and of course they go to fight. They fight using music. They fight by actually using music. Like Doctor Strange, like at first they're fighting, and Doctor Strange he hits a piano, and then so he takes the sheet music and makes the notes rise off the music and throws them at evil Doctor Strange. Evil Doctor Strange reflects them and throws them back at him. All while they do this, like it's Beethoven and everything else is just playing. And then, of course, Doctor Strange, he makes this one looks like evil Doctor Strange is gonna win because he got the Darkhold back. Doctor Strange sees a heart, and while he's still holding off the other music from blasting him, he just flicks a note on the heart, which causes that one note to go and crash into the Darkhold and basically blow up everything. And it basically blew evil Doctor Strange out of the window to where he gets impaled on the fence. And of course you see him literally fall down and get impaled. And I'm like, bro, they went hard movie and gruesome with this movie. And then so, when he falls out, of course, Christine, she runs over there, just to make sure he's actually dead. Well, of course, when she runs over there, the third eye opens up on his forehead. But he's dead, but the third eye still opens up on his forehead. And then so after that, she makes her way into the sanctum, and Doctor Strange is basically about to dream walk. And she was like, all you strangers are the same. I knew like you would do something like this. And he said, yeah, we are all the same. And then, but he was like, but that's the only way, for him to basically help her with it. And he said, I can't do any of this without you. He said, because when I go under, I need you to protect my body. So he goes under, and she goes, and basically she's just guarding the body. Well, of course, when he goes under, of course, the spirits started to come at him, because they're like, dream walking, is forbidden or whatever, you have to stop or whatever. And before he went under, she asked him, she said, but don't you have to be alive in another universe, in order to dream walk? And then he said, who said I had to be alive? And he goes to the Doctor Strange that America brought to our universe that Doctor Strange buried. So it's zombie Doctor Strange, now rising from the grave to go fight our Wanda.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
And then so when he basically takes over his body, the spirits, they start coming out and attacking him, talking about dream walking is forbidden and all this, you must stop now. And then so Doctor Strange, he's starting to feel the effects, and Christine, she's keeping hold of him and stuff. She has to fight off some of the spirits, and then she tells Doctor Strange because it's looking like all hope is lost and he's about to lose, to these spirits. And she says, you are a sorcerer of magic. These are just spirits. She said, use them. So that's when he sits up, and the zombie Doctor Strange is taking the spirits that's attacking him, and he makes a cloak, like a cape out of them, to fly over to where Wanda is. And he flies over there, and of course, he sends the spirits at Wanda, and of course, after a while, Wanda, she breaks free of those spirits, because Wong had her locked like in a ball while the spirits were chasing at her, but she breaks through all that. And then, Wong tells Doctor Strange to take America's power, because that's the only thing that's could stop this. And Doctor Strange said, no, there's another way. And then so he breaks free. He breaks America free. And when he breaks America free, he tells her, like, you understand how to work your power. You did all along. You just had to trust yourself. So America goes and she basically, like, she punches Wanda, with her power. And then, it looks like she's about to knock Wanda off a cliff. Well, of course, Scarlet Witch, she's like, nah, I was just playing with you. Like, this ain't about to happen. And then so America goes to hit her again, and Wanda catches it. And then when Wanda catches it, then she's like, America says, I can't defeat you, so I'll give you what you want. And she basically transports him into a reality, where she's in the house with Tommy and Billy. And she looks at them, she says, boys. And they automatically just freak out. I'm talking about they go calling for their mommy. They're throwing toys. They're like, witch. And she's like, no, I'm your mother. They say, you're not our mom. And the Wanda in that reality actually comes down. And Wanda, our Wanda tells that Wanda to get away from them. And she throws her across the room. Everybody's like, please don't hurt us. And then she was like, I would never hurt you. I would never hurt anybody. And she starts to realize, just what she had done. So Wanda is basically sitting on her throne again. And she looks at that Doctor Strange and she tells him, like, I opened the Darkhold. I have to be the one to close it. And she lifts the temple up and basically just destroys it and let it crumble down on top of her. And of course, some people think she's dead. I don't think she's dead, because when you see it crumble on top of her, you also see like a flash of red. I don't know if that was her, going to a different universe or what. But I don't think Wanda like committed suicide or killed herself. I don't think she's dead. But anyway, but she does that, and doing that, she also destroys every copy of the Darkhold in every universe. And then, like, of course, when she destroyed the temple, that destroyed the original Darkhold. So now the original and every copy in every universe is gone. So nobody has a Darkhold anymore. So then, that's when Doctor Strange, he wakes up from his dream walk or whatever to that universe, Christine. And Christine, asks him, what is your universe like? And he's like, I would love to take you sometime. She's like, yeah, that would be one heck of an excursion. And he basically, confesses his love to her. He says, I love you. I love you in every universe. And then, so, they go back to the temple. The temple is being rebuilt. And, now he has America there, training with the sorcerers. And, she's having difficulties, opening the portal. And she's like, how is this harder than, my power? And, like, Doctor Strange and Wong, they're walking through. And that's when Doctor Strange, tells Wong what she needs to do. And Wong said, that reminds me of another student that I once knew. Talking about him. And, so then, like, they're standing there or whatever. And they had their little conversation. Doctor Strange asked me, is he actually happy? And Wong says, he was like, that's a weird question, but, in some way I am. He said, but it's one to think about, though. And then, so, Doctor Strange, he bows to him. And that was actually, him being honorable and, bowing, showing Wong honor as the Sorcerer Supreme. Because it's like tradition, or custom that you bow to the Sorcerer Supreme. And at the beginning of the movie, Doctor Strange was so cocky, like he didn't respect Wong for being the Sorcerer Supreme, because felt like it should have been him. So of course he finally bows to him, and then so then they Doctor Strange goes back to his universe. Well, I wouldn't say his universe. He goes back to the Sanctum Sanctorum, and Wong stays at the temple. And of course, before he walks through the portal, America says, I'm glad I fell into your universe, and he's like, I'm glad you did too. And then so he goes back in, and And then the next scene is him repairing his watch that was broken. He puts a new face on it and stuff. And then so he walks outside. The movie is basically ended now. And he walks back outside and all of a sudden he falls to the ground and he starts screaming in pain. And when he starts screaming in pain, the third eye that was on evil Doctor Strange's head opens up on our Doctor Strange forehead. And that's where the movie cuts off. And then the post-credit scene, after the first little credit roll, the post-credit scene was basically, he was basically back to walking on the street or whatever, still got the third eye or whatever, but now it's closed. And this woman shows up, and I believe they said her name was Clea. And from what I had seen, I believe they said her name was Clea. But she shows up, and in the comments, basically, her and Doctor Strange team up or whatever. But she said, Doctor Strange, you opened you caused an excursion, and we need to fix it. And then so she basically got a little sword in her hand, and she cuts open the universe to the dark dimension. And Doctor Strange was like, let's ride. And then so he whips out, the coat, and he got it on. Now he got the third eye opened up. And then so they step through that portal. And then, that's the end of that. And then the final end credit scene, it's just the guy that Doctor Strange put a spell on, he still punching himself, and then all of a sudden he stops and he laughs at the camera, and then he just like, it's over. And that's it. It was the same as the equivalent as when we waited for the end credit scene of Spider-Man Homecoming, only for Captain America to be there and be like, patience is a virtue. It was like, okay, that was just a little fun. That was just a little fun, little end credit, but it didn't do nothing, to the story. I was actually ticked off the first time I seen it. Second time I laughed at it. The first time because I wanted something to know what was going to build up to, like Thor or something, And so yeah, that was basically the movie. Like I said, for me, the movie was a 10 out of 10. I absolutely loved it. Sam Raimi, he did his thing with this. Of course, for those who were theorizing, we did not get Iron Man, Tom Cruise. We did not get Tobey Maguire in there. They're not in there. But, like I said, the Illuminati got Captain Marvel, Captain Carter, Black Adam, Reed Richards, and then Charles Xavier. But yeah, that was basically it for the movie. I really enjoyed it. Elizabeth Olsen, Scarlet Witch, phenomenal job. Phenomenal. I'm talking about. Give her a round of applause. That was a phenomenal job. Doctor Strange, loved it. Wong, loved it. Everything about this movie. I loved it. The zombies, the evil spirits, like I said, Scarlet Witch biting everybody. The Illuminati, even though they were only in there for like 5 seconds to get bodied by Wanda. Loved all of it. But yeah, so that was my review for Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. If you like it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. And until next time, it's your boy JR3, and I'll see you later.